Wow, so we're live. I'm actually really excited about this live stream, and I know like 2021 has been a funny year for me because I don't even know what to say. I'm just ranting here. Okay, how are you guys doing today? I'm really hoping you guys are doing fine. We're already having like 5 viewers currently, and it's amazing. Today I have two amazing minds with me. I'm not even going to say their name. They're going to do their own intro. I have two amazing Nigerian motion designers with me, and I'm really excited about them. I just, I don't even know what to say. Let's just get into the video. How are you guys doing? Like, I normally would like introduce who is coming, but today I wanted you guys to just do your own intro, say who you are, say what you've been doing the last few years, and just introduce yourself.
Okay. Let me start. My name is OSHOMAH Abubakar, and I am a motion designer. I work with Flutterwave at the moment, and I do some like freelance gigs on the side as well. Yeah. So I've been in motion design for about 3 years now. Yeah, but in the whole creative industry for about 7 years. So I've been a graphic designer, I've been like a videographer, I've been like a video editor. Uh, so yeah, I've been in that space. Like I started my whole stuff with like video editing. Like I fell in love with videos a lot, videos and photos. So yeah, that's me.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is, it's quite a mouthful. My name is Uchenna Gregory Obi. I'm a graphic designer and animator slash motion designer in transit. So I'm actually making a switch from, I'm still making the switch. I don't know if I'm there yet, but yeah, I'm a graphic design animator. Right now I'm freelancing. I'm basically surviving. I think that's what I'll say. Yeah, basically freelancing and surviving. I think that's about it. More will come during the chat.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to say that when we went live, I was like so shy. Like, I've been preparing this weird intro in my head, and as soon as I click the live button, everything just
Oh
disappeared
no.
from my mind. Everything just went like I wasn't even sure what was going on. So if you notice the weirdness, and the annoying part is it happens in every single video. I've always messed up the intro. I hope I get better soon, but let's just get into the conversation. Today's talk is really important because I know all my live streams have always been about being a motion designer in Nigeria. And I talk to amazing motion designers that I look up to. Like everybody I've brought here, I've actually always been starstruck by them, and it's been really amazing. Today, I wanted to bring people who are doing well being Nigerian and doing motion design. People who have been doing it a little bit longer than I have. I think maybe we've all been doing it the same amount of time, but I feel like you guys started focusing on motion design maybe a year before I started focusing on motion design fully. And I wanted everyone who is trying to be a motion designer in Nigeria. I wanted to learn from you. I want everyone to learn from you because you guys are thriving. You guys are doing amazing. Like I see your work and always having PTSD. God, how can my work be this good? So my work is all like, let me brag a little bit. My work is actually really amazing. If I just say so myself, thank you very. Go and check out my work. I'm plugging myself. So let's just get into the questions. I'm hoping during the conversation people learn anything or two, and at the end you guys give us your secret sauce. So the first question is, how did you become a motion designer? Like, what was the transition like? What led to that? What led to you entering this career path? Because let's be honest, motion design is not a straight career path. You cannot wake up like you cannot give birth to a child and the child. I mean, in the last 20 years, nobody even knew what it was in this country. It was usually maybe a videographer or an extra skill that a videographer would give its client. Nobody knew what it is. So like, how did you guys land in this career path? I'm just going to mute myself and let you guys and do all the conversations from now on. So how did you become a motion designer? I think you guys can decide who goes first. So let's go.
Oshoma can go first.
No, I went first last time.
Oh, it's a competition, Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. So like we said before the chat started, you asked about Covenant University. I attended Covenant University. I studied computer science. I sucked terribly at coding. So I made a switch to graphic design. This was around 2015. And when I got laid off for my first job as like a web programmer, because that's how bad I was, I was struggling. So after I made the switch, I did a bunch of personal projects, watched a bunch of YouTube tutorials to learn how to use Photoshop and Illustrator. Did a couple of projects for friends, built a portfolio and applied with the help of a friend. I applied for an internship at Pulse Nigeria, and that's how it started for me. That's how I got into graphic design. And then after working at Pulse Nigeria, I got to a stage where I felt like graphic design it wasn't fulfilling anymore. Basically because this was around the time when Snapchat was picking up, Instagram was really becoming a thing. And of course, as you follow illustrators and graphic designers, like I fell in love with people like, I don't know if you know Moscouton. He's a Belgian illustrator. And then, of course, when you follow one person, the algorithm like links you up to someone else. And then I started seeing the accounts of like animators, and I liked the idea of the design that I create moving. Coincidentally, also I started watching a bit of Vox. I think I've been an avid follower of Vox. Vox is a kind of like, I like to call it like news for news for youths. But Vox is basically like they have these YouTube videos that are always short, topical videos, and of course I know a lot of hard work goes into it, but the kind of like they use animation to convey the message of the news, to tell the stories. And I just fell in love with that whole, animating stuff. So um after working at Pulse for 2 years and 4 months, I I left. I resigned from Pulse and applied for a school. Applied for the digital design program at Vancouver Film School. So I left Nigeria 2019 to come study the 1 year program. I finished last year, and and that's how, like, once I was done with that program, my motion design career kicked off. Like, that's how it all started.
That is like a killer progression from being just a guy who started coding. I'm going to say I actually also started coding. I started not the way you would think. I started by stealing my uncle's book. My uncle went to Covenant and I stole all his books and I started learning coding that way. And it was amazing. I loved it first, but I wasn't enjoying it. And from there, I just fell into design, and
Mhm.
I was a designer for a while. Then motion design came along. Then I left design, fired all my clients, and this is like I really actually legit fired all my clients. I just posted it. I'm no longer taking design clients. You guys should go F yourselves. It wasn't that mean, but it was a very mean message. Please don't call me again. And I start because I feel like I always do this a lot where I start my career fresh with a blank page and just start a new career from scratch. And that's what I did. And I also like to add that every video on this channel that is not a live stream is inspired by Vox. If you
Oh,
don't, like for real, like except my dark aesthetics, I watch Vox a lot, and I feel like the way they make their videos is actually a way to cheat and show and not show that I don't have a camera yet, and just record my voice, add animations, and tell stories that way.
yeah.
And
I think Vox was like because I literally had a chat with a lady in who works for like she works as a designer for a newspaper here, Toronto Star or Toronto Star, if you are speaking in Canadian vernacular. But basically, she like once I just mentioned Vox to her. Oh, you need to see the way we were just. It's like she just became so excited that oh my god, you watch Vox too? Like yes,
like who doesn't?
because I don't think there's any, especially designers who like the idea of animation or motion design and storytelling.
Mhm.
You will always find Vox like it's like the model basically.
I think moral of the story is go and watch Vox. Every single video, except the political ones.
Exactly.
Every single video, Vox
Yeah.
is amazing. So, Mr. Abubakar Oshoma, sorry, I'm always curious. Like, what is your name actually Oshoma?
Yeah, my name is actually Oshoma. That's my middle name. My first name is Abdul Wahab.
Oh wow!
And
And
the story behind like Oshoma coming to the forefront was when Twitter came about, and
hmm,
I like was searching for a name like a handle that was like Abdul Wahab, but it was already taken. So I said, "Oh, let me just try my middle name." And I said, "Oh, Oshoma," and since then everybody was like, "Oh, Oshoma, Oshoma,"
and it's
and it
more
stuck.
like the branding on Oshoma is bigger. Like when you tweet that, boom, I have a motion design project and I'm looking for a
Yeah,
Nigerian motion designer. Oshoma's
yeah,
name takes over. Like you would
yeah.
like I remember that Twitter thread, your name took over mine. And I was just $5,000 in my life. I was like,
As
no.
in,
Did the guy eventually call you?
yeah. We spoke, but was looking for like a game like developer per se, developer slash motion designer. So like a
Oh,
3D
you should have just specified.
periodical kind of. Yeah, he didn't
You
specify,
should,
so
you should have
it was
called
really
me
annoying.
because I would have like my guy is a game developer and motion designer.
Oh,
That
it
would
would have
have
been
been
easier
fun.
that way.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then he didn't reach out to me, even though my name was the second name everyone was calling. Sorry, sorry. So let me let
Yeah.
you say your story. How did you become a motion designer?
Yeah, so like it started in uni per se. Like I didn't know the direction I was particularly headed towards, but I loved like even from when I was little, I loved like watching like cartoons, watching videos. Like I was basically raised in front of the TV. Like I was watching Michael Jackson videos, watching um, Lion King, like different like nursery rhymes, a lot of stuff. So um I was more inclined towards like videos, and in uni I started like playing like a friend introduced me to Windows Movie Maker, and he showed me that oh you can actually like edit stuff with this and like add music to it, and I like added music to like a video. I think it was Evanescence and what's the name of this? Dante's Inferno. So like it was a mixture of both, and it's kind of blended. I was mixing everything together. So it was looking really good, and I fell in love with videos at the time. But I dropped it because I didn't like. I was making all those videos and it wasn't like clicking. I wasn't really doing much, and at the time they weren't like um proper like phones that could like record videos. Most of the time, those pictures I could take, and that was the highest I could do. So later on, I started working with Photoshop. Like a friend introduced me to like the creative suite because I was interested. Like, oh, you can actually create stuff on your laptop and like manipulate photos, like cut people's head off and like do really really weird stuff. So I was doing most of that, and then I discovered PSD tools like Toots Plus for vectors for Photoshop. So I started like learning like tutorials, and it started generating towards something that I liked because I enjoyed like creating stuff. Then my first clients at the time were my classmates. So I was creating logos, creating posters, doing weird stuff. Then at that time, I like wanted to go into the advertising industry, and because that was like the next thing. Like you're creating stuff for brands, and they are on billboards. So you want to see your stuff on billboard, and you're like, yeah, I actually did that. And it was more of like a prestigious a movement for me. And I actually got to do that because after school, after uni, um, I was able to create, I was able to like work with an advertising agency. That was what like kickstarted my graphic design because at first you think that you're doing graphic design when you're in school, but when you enter the industry, you see that you have been doing nonsense since. so so I, I saw the nonsense that I was doing before, and I became more um, more professional in the sense that I could handle stuff for printing, packaging design, carton design. I could do all this stuff. But at the point, it became boring because you you really wanted to do much. You really wanted to do better, and you wanted to do something that wasn't just static. Like quite alright, you want to do stuff that's go on the billboard, but you wanted to move, you wanted to. So um, I discovered computer art. I don't know if you know the magazine, Computer Art Magazine, and I saw a lot of stuff that blew my mind. Like I did not see anything like that in Nigeria. So it was just madness all through. So I kept subscribing every month with my small salary. I was subscribing every month and was like copying stuff that they're doing, like learning stuff. Then I did this 100 days challenge. That was what like kickstarted the whole thing. So I did like this 100 days challenge where I start like when you're stuck like you're in a sport like you find yourself like like um in a spot where you want to advance but you are being held back by your limitations or your limitations in quotes because
Yeah.
you have procrastination, indiscipline, uh, and all the things that make us unsuccessful. Them sound like one motivational speaker. so, so, so you have all these things, and you make a decision that okay, for the next 100 days, I want to make stuff at least one particular thing every single day, even if it is trash. I'm going to do it, and my trash will become gold one day. So let's see how it's going to be. So I made like that commitment, and no matter how late, no matter how tired, no matter how overwhelmed my day is, that's priority one. Like it must be what I will be doing that day. So I did that for 3 months, like 90 to 100 days. I did that for 100 days, and by the end of the 100th day, like this, I was like, ooh, that was for illustration. I was like, ooh, okay, I actually did this, and I could like put together my portfolio of illustrations, like stuff that I've done, and start looking for the kind of job that I want. Because many times when people are looking for jobs, they tend to show stuff that they've done before. And stuff that they've done before might not be what they want to do because those are stuff that they've done for clients or for the previous employers that they had. So I was doing stuff that I actually wanted to do more of. So when I did those and I posted them out, and I started looking for jobs again, and I found another job because of that 100 days challenge. Most of the stuff that the employer was seeing before were just the normal regular graphic design, branding stuff. So when he saw the illustrations, oh, this is quirky, this is different, this is something that I have to like play with. So I pushed towards that, and I got the job, and I was very happy. I like got a boost too. So I got I got tired again after like a year and a half or so, and I started like searching. Then I discovered School of Motion, and I was like, okay, this is a new paradigm. Let's see how this works.
Shout out to
So
School of Motion.
yes, shout out to School of Motion. So I saw School of Motion. I saw most of the stuff that I was seeing were tutorials online, and they were really, really, really good stuff. And I was blown away. And there was this rabbit hole I just entered from then on. That's when I discovered Motion Marcos. I discovered Andrew Vuko. I discovered 3D artists that are amazing. I also entered the rabbit hole, and I discovered that they had what do you call it, the podcast too. I just kept going and going, and I became obsessed. Then I said, okay, it's time for another challenge again, another 100 days challenge. I don't care how bad it is. I'm going to learn how to use After Effects. Started learning After Effects too, and I did like 100 days. I was moving ball, like I moved ball from one place to one point. I'm like, okay, I've done something for today, and that was it. So I kept doing like that for like 100 days. And by the end of the 100th day, I put together like a show reel, and I said, okay, this is stuff that I've done. Then I continued to like learn and stuff. So I did it for like 2 years straight until I discovered that, okay, how can I become better? Because it's easy for me to like go on After Effects and just move stuff around. But how can I make it have meaning per se? So I started searching for like tutorials online. I discovered what do you call it? Um, um, MDS, Motion Design School. So I discovered Motion Design School because I could not afford School of Motion's course. They're expensive. So I discovered the MDS. They had a free course. I took the free course on School of Motion too, Pathomograph. That Pathomograph opened my mind a lot. Like it opened my mind to how broad the industry is. Then
Shout out to
I took the
Joey.
motion. Yes.
Sorry,
So
there's so many people to shout out. Like, yeah, all
there are too many. There are too
everyone's
many.
stories.
There are too many. So I took the motion design school course, motion based, and like improved, like sharpened the skills like that I had already. Then that's how I started becoming more prominent in the industry. So I said, oh, OSHOMAH can do motion design for you. Yeah. I was the guy. I was that guy that you come and say, oh, yeah, OSHOMAH can do it for you. So that's how I became who I am today. uh,
That's a very interesting story. I like the
yeah,
progression of how you started from being curious about visuals, about video editing. I feel like if you were young and you had a computer in this century, you would more or less like you would be exposed to that. Like a lot of like it's alarming
yeah,
how a lot of people don't have a computer even till now. How much like a lot of children don't have computer, have access to the internet, and it's something I'm grateful for. Sorry, this
yeah.
I have a code anyway, so I have this blanket with me. Sorry. Okay, so let's go to the next question. There are so many touch points on your story, like especially like the School of Motion stuff. School of Motion is a big
Yeah,
part of my growth right now, and like I'm
yeah,
going to be grateful to those guys for a long time because they are really amazing guys, and they genuinely always want to like. They genuinely like. There's this feeling of them genuinely want to help you in anything you're doing, and they always want to support you. And it's amazing, even if their courses are very expensive, but it's
yeah,
worth it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Like
they're
with the
definitely
work,
worth it.
exactly like with the work they put in so much work to make sure you know something. Like yeah, they put in so much work to make sure that that thing you're learning is entering your head, and you're not just paying $1,000 for a course and you're not getting anything. They put in so much work to getting you a teaching assistant, someone to ask you questions, someone to ask questions, and staff is so nice. So enough School of Motion praise. Let's get into the next question.
They
So
deserve
what
it.
is yeah, they do deserve it. School of Motion in particular. They're like that one company innovating in this space. So let's get into the next question. The next question is what's most challenging for you now? Like as a motion designer, as a Nigerian motion designer, as a motion designer in Nigeria and out of Nigeria, what is most challenging for you, and what was challenging when you were starting? Yeah,
Okay, should I go first? I'll go first.
yeah, you went first last time.
I went first. I went last. Last time. So for the most challenging thing is apart from the issue of maybe say electricity, like thank God there's light now, so thank God for that one. so So like apart from the issue of like electricity, like for internet is fairly good, and for when it comes to clients are once they hear once you bill them, for instance, they're like, "Ooh, it's too much. How can you be billing me this kind of money?" They see like motion design as like a second option when they don't want to go and shoot. Maybe they don't want to shoot a video or don't shoot like a campaign, for instance, and they know that they'll spend a lot of money, so they want to cut down on costs. So they'll see, okay, let's look for a motion designer that will do it, and they don't expect you to say, okay, I'm going to be working with a sound designer, or I'm going to be getting sound files, or I'm going to be like getting license for some maybe like assets that you're using. They don't see those things. They feel like, okay, if they just give you the work like this, you are going to do it, and you're going to give it to them in a very short time, and they want it like in a week. So a job that can take like a month or 2 months to actually get done, like conceptualizing alone, it can take you like 2 weeks alone. So like they don't see those things. They don't. But when you like try to, because most of the time, I feel um like like creatives don't know how to educate their clients, like let them know that, okay, this is the process of how things are done. So when you put them through, some of them will be like, okay, this is what it takes, but some of them will not be convinced because they feel like this is something that someone else did. Why can't you do it? But they'll point to a piece that ordinary folk did. I'm like, oh, I like this thing that they did for Google. Can you do it for me? Like, and you be like, I cannot do this alone. Like, let's go and look at the credits. You see, like 20 people sat down to actually do this thing, and they had like maybe like 10 seconds or
Also, I
five
have to like,
seconds.
also like to add that they'll see like, 30 people or 20 people, and those people
Yeah,
did it in 6 months.
exactly. Do you understand? So they will look at all those pieces and I'm like, oh, can't you do this? This is really dope and this one now. I've had instances like that they will come to me and like, can you do this thing for us? And I'm like, this thing, look at the credits first before you come to me, because it's a lot of people that actually did this. And if you can afford it, no problem. So there is that issue of looking down at motion design as a an attachment to graphic design. Like it's just a small part of graphic design. When on its own, like quite alright, graphic design is part of motion design, but it is much more complex than how it is being portrayed. So yeah, that is part of the challenges that I face. Like so, yeah. But when the clients are good, like yeah, they are good.
Everything you face is the exact thing I face every single day. Clients don't understand that like my last project, we literally like our last project in my team, literally I think I was explaining it to you what happened the other time when we were
Yeah,
in the conversation. Like they didn't understand how long it takes to get like the quality they are looking for. But then they are comparing us to studios like Man versus Machine or which are the Tendril. Like Tendril has like a team of how many people, and they're doing
yeah,
really
the
amazing.
Microsoft people.
Yeah, the Microsoft people. Microsoft, do you know how much Microsoft spent on this work? And then they compare you, they're like, do it. Like they don't even know how long it takes for that simulation to work. I
Yeah,
mean, even get the simulation right itself to even come up with the idea, and they compare you. And once it's not like, once they don't like it, they leave. And it's something we face every day, every day, every day. And it's something that, like you said, people need to learn to educate their clients. And it's something I'm investing my time in, like taking my time to show them that this thing takes actual work. This thing is not a download this thing, buy a template online, give me a video type of thing. We're trying to make a video that would help you sell out, that would make your business grow. Not a video that you would use today and the next day you cannot upload it again because it's pointless.
yeah,
And I'm sure Mr. Obi, Mr. Uche Gregory Obi, sorry,
Yeah.
Uche not Gregory Obi would have like a different set of problems. Though according to him, he has a lot of Nigerian clients, but then he's not in Nigeria. So let's see the kind of problems he has as a motion designer.
Oh, correction. I don't have a lot of Nigerian clients. I just have the one. I just have the one client, and that's it. But I mean, I keep hoping to God that eventually I get. I mean, I someone reached out to me recently, so I don't know how that's going to turn out, but hopefully, let's see. Um, and thank you for sharing, Oshoma. Like, I think I can relate to most of those challenges because when I started learning motion design, I was in Nigeria, and I had the issue of like electricity, internet, time, and yeah, a lot of that really hinders things. I didn't actually say this for the first question about how I did become a motion designer, but that electricity is a very important thing, and I'll explain to you why. When I was still when I in my mind when I thought I was still trying to like build a career to become like the next Mark Zuckerberg and like code the next best website and stuff like that, it started to dawn on me that the lack of constant electricity, it means that if a kid in America, for instance, picked up HTML5 and CSS, if they put in the work, they could go through the tutorial or the course in a week. But if you're in Nigeria, it's going to take you a month because you don't have constant electricity. And it got to a point where as I was trying to learn how to code, I realized that I think that was the same period when they just released React or some new JavaScript. Once I just know that once they release that plugin or whatever that thing is, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's React or something or Node.js. I just gave up on coding. Like I just don't. I said, you know what, I'm done. Like it doesn't make sense because as you're trying to learn something, that thing you're trying to learn becomes outdated because the system is drawing you back. So like graphic design was like the next best thing for me because I didn't have to rely on internet to draw, to sketch, to come up with concepts and things like that.
But you
So,
still needed internet.
uh,
But you still needed internet.
oh, definitely, definitely. But like, say for instance, you get a client, right? And you have to design uh, maybe a social media pack or something like that. You could actually start doing the work on paper.
True.
You could actually sketch out the design on paper. You could use um, coloring pencils to, I know it sounds silly, but trust me, this is stuff that I did. You could actually do the work on paper and have it ready on a sketched out, low fidelity, design. And then when, electricity comes on, you quickly rush to the PC and, design whatever it is and quickly send it to the client before, your laptop dies or something. So I found out that like it's possible for you to still have a fledgling design career, even with the way things were. And that was kind of encouraging. That kind of encouraged me more to want to go into, design and then eventually, not necessarily motion design because that's more time consuming. But now that things are kind of my environment is different, but but like you said, what the question was, what did I find most challenging? I would say it's electricity. That was like the main thing, electricity and internet. um I remember my first tutorial was a bouncing ball, just a simple bouncing ball, and then morphing, that's path animation and After Effects, and that thing took me like a week to do
I know
because
that tutorial. Mount Mobra.
mad, it's good,
Shout out to that guy too.
That was one of my
Sorry, is
beginning.
he it's do you know his name? Do you know the name of the YouTube creator, Mount Mograph?
Actually don't know his actual name. I just know him and his plugins.
Yeah, that's the guy. So I literally did that course, that tutorial, and it took me like the longest because there was like no constant electricity or internet. So it was just it's very challenging if you're trying to be creative. I think when I got to VFS for the 1 year program, we had this. assignment of sorts, which eventually turned out to be the bougie brand identity on my portfolio. And I remember I drew the design on paper. Like the typography and everything, I did it on paper. And my instructor saw it and was like, he was shocked, because he was like, who still, like, he could not believe that someone could actually meticulously draw Cooper Standard Black, like the typeface on paper first. Like he couldn't really fathom the idea of starting on paper, because he probably felt that, like, oh, everyone, because there's a PC and there's like electricity, everyone just goes straight into um just go straight into the design, and you start creating concepts and iterations and things like that. But one of the things that, in a way, when I finally changed environment and I came to Canada, I found out that that thing that was a hindrance for me in Nigeria was a strength, because now if I'm starting anything, I start on paper, and that kind of builds my confidence as I go along with the design. But yeah, I did find electricity challenging, but right now what I find most challenging is building a network, because most motion designers, it's not enough for you to just know how to design. Um, you could watch all the tutorials you want to, you could pay for all the courses you want to pay for, but if you don't have a network, because the whole idea of all these things, like the idea of this thing we're doing is to make money. Like it's to make a killing from motion design or design in general. It's to eat from the skill. So if you are not converting, if you can't convert the skill into profit, except maybe you're doing it for fun, then you are not achieving your goal or the goal. So I think right now what is most challenging is building a network, because as a freelancer, we get our jobs from our network. It's people who know what you're capable of that will give you a job. A random stranger will not give you a job. you know
Yeah.
yeah, it's even if a stranger wants to give you a job, they'll still like ask you for your portfolio. They want to see your demo reel and things like that. You'll probably do a bit of research online to see if maybe you're not a racist or a homophobe and things like that. So you know it's
Sorry,
it's
I cannot really relate with the race problem. Yeah, I wanted to add that in Nigeria, connection is everything. Even when you want to go to a party and you want to get jollof rice, if you don't know someone there, nobody is answering
Exactly,
you.
exactly. So it's like it's the same thing. Like maybe in Nigeria it was kind of different, because people knew me back home, in the sense that, or people know me back home, because it's not like I'm gone for good. People know me back home, and it was kind of very easy for me to get jobs that way. But in this environment where I hardly know anyone, I have to like like I have to build relationships, make connections. And I can say, I told you before the call, before the stream, um, after almost 9 months of networking, I only have one job to show for it. So it just goes to show how how intense the struggle is. Like, it's a real challenge to be able to get people to trust you and trust in your abilities.
I'm just going to plug my next YouTube video right now because I'm working on a video and a book. It's okay. I'm practicing how to write books, yeah, and I'm writing a short book on how to network and find clients, and I'm plugging my YouTube video on how to find clients. So you guys should check it out. It's coming out next week or later this week, as soon as I can wake up and I can finish it. So you guys should check it out. I go through how to network, how to have conversations with people, and how to send DMs, which is my strength. I can send a DM to almost any person in this world, even Barack Obama. Sorry.
You do a very good job.
Yeah. So like I wanted to like say something about the electricity problem. and the internet problem. I think this is one thing I feel like if we can improve on in this country, we would, like, our economy would, everybody's business would boom. Like everybody's business would grow, or would be at least more comfortable, or would improve by at least 10%. Because this electricity is like a very, very big issue. For me, I've learned not to like rely on NEPA at all. Like I would say like I spend money on petrol every day, at least 2,000 naira. So from morning till the next day, this journey is always on. So I don't have to worry about electricity, and that's my only saving grace, to be honest. But then I would say my own issue as a motion designer right now is money. Not necessarily all the issues that you guys have mentioned. I don't have an issue with building a network. I don't have an issue. I have maybe some clients issue, but me as a motion designer, I'm doing it to enjoy myself, not necessarily find clients or work with the most amazing clients. But Apple, please, if any of my friend is working on Apple, and I know some of you are watching it, if you're working with Apple this year and you don't call me, I'm literally going to unfriend you because I really want Apple on my portfolio. Like Apple has to be on my portfolio. Apple has no choice but to be on my portfolio. Anyways, I'm doing motion design to enjoy myself and not necessarily to make money. Like I'm doing it just for the fun of it and just to innovate. Like I want to see how motion design does for like what motion design does for a business. I want to see how it grows that business, and I want to do it at my own accord. I want to do it because I love it, because I love growing that business in motion design. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm doing it for the money that I'll collect from the business. I'm doing it for the money that the business would make after my motion design piece is working for them. And so, like, to do that, when you're just starting, if you don't have like years of work and enough money to, I don't have years of work. I don't even do motion design as much as you guys would think. So, if you don't have years of work and you don't have money to finance this weird goal of just doing motion design to enjoy it, it can be really difficult. Like I can't imagine, like I would get money now and all I'm spending it on is doing more work. I'm spending it on getting internet. I'm spending it on paying for expenses in the studio. I'm spending it on internet and electricity, like 2,000 every day. Like you can imagine how much my bill is in a week. And the NEPA here is unreliable. They only bring lights maybe once a week. So you get. So my biggest issue is having a consistent income as a motion designer, and it's very important as a creator who wants to do it for enjoying life. Like work on your financial issues first before you start doing things to enjoy it. I think that's one thing I wish someone would have told me earlier.
Wait. Are you saying? I want to understand you. Are you saying that like you're doing this for the fun of it?
Yes, I am doing it for the fun of it. Like I want to work on more personal projects. I want to do more pro bonos. Like I want my studio to do more pro bonos. Like I want us to just pick out a random business in this weird country and do motion for them. We experimented with it last year. We did one pro bono and we did it for the business, and it was amazing. I want to do like two more pro bonos this year. Like just take out the business, do motion for them, spend like at least 3 months, give them the kind of quality that Apple would pay for, kind of quality of work, the concept, the sound design, everything has to be on point. Everything has to look amazing, and see how it grows their business in a month or in a week. And that's just one of my purpose, just growth, like helping businesses grow. That is my core value. Like I really don't care about the money as much. Do I like money a lot? Please send me your money. I don't have a bag, but I'll give you my bag tag after this call. Sorry, I'm sure we have like different types of problems, like totally unrelatable problems. Because I'm sure you guys do it because you enjoy it, but not totally because you enjoy it.
Oh, to be frank, I actually do enjoy it. Like speaking about like moving into design, I think the first thing was um graphic design. Like I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it, but motion design is more like, it's a mystery to me because there's so many angles to it. Like there's so many techniques to animation, for instance. So one of the things I've been practicing for quite some time now is the process of frame by frame animation, which is not something that I am very good at, but because I have the privilege and I have the time and the resources to be able to do that, I get to explore more and try out different techniques and things that I would not normally do. Um, and it's like it's rewarding, and I think it's all about where each designer sees himself. There's
Mm.
something that while working at Pulse, the senior graphic designer at the time, who kind of inspired me to chase the motion design dream, while he was also, because he was transitioning from a graphic designer to a UI, but majorly UX designer, and he kind of encouraged me to like chase this motion design dream, because it was like, it doesn't make sense for you to keep doing graphic design if that's not what you really want to do. And he one thing that he he made clear, and probably other people like Chris Do, they've done in terms of when they have talks, is there are people who want to be masters at many things, and then there are people who just want to be good at one thing, so and that's basically where all designers find themselves: people who want to be good at multiple things and people who want to be good at just one thing. And so wherever you find yourself in that spectrum, it's that's what's going to kind of dictate how you approach your career, the decisions you make, in the jobs you take, the things, the personal projects you embark on, and things like that. And so for me, I'm actually trying to transition to animation, and particularly animation and motion design, because not that if I see a graphic design project that I'm interested in, I will not do it, but it's more animation now because I would like that to dictate everything I do. So the personal projects I take on now are animation and animation related. Is it directing, storyboarding? Well, not that storyboarding itself is not a skill and a technique that people actually um, become masters at, but whenever I do those personal projects, I'm majorly gunning for I'm majorly gunning for like the frame by frame aspect, because that's where I feel I need to improve on, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So it's yeah, it helps if you know what you're trying to, where you are, and
Where
what you're trying to develop like in terms of your skill.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you just gave a lot of solid advice. Even there are some questions for you specifically. But then sorry, there are questions for both of you. But then we're going to like go over the questions after, much later in the video. So like the next question, like that was a whole conversation, and it actually led to a question that I had in mind, which is why are you doing what you're doing? And you basically have answered it a little bit. And I would like Mr. Abubakar to answer the question too. So like, why do you do motion design? Like, are you loving it? Where do you see yourself?
Well, like I said before, I've been a fan of like spectacle, and um, if I can create something that grabs people's attention and helps people like kind of see a bit of beauty in the world, through storytelling, through art, it's kind of like a piece of me is giving out, and it kind of plants a seed in a lot of people that, okay, yes, this is a part of light that you can tap into. Because I know of people that have seen some of my stuff and they'll be like, oh, this is really dope. I would like to be this kind of person. I would like to do this kind of thing. And it's very inspiring. And even though I somehow see myself not being there yet, because I know I've seen this Aria Glass video on Vimeo where it talks about the gap, where you are you have like your taste is really high, but where you are, your skill level is not there yet. So there's a space in between that you need to fill with like discipline, hard work, and whatever. So that space is where I'm trying to like fill up, and um, the more I learn about motion design, the more I love it, the more I want to get better at it. And um, sometimes it's sweet pain because you have to do the hard work. There's no other way that you can go around it. You can say, oh, maybe there's a shortcut that you learn, blah, blah, blah. It's shortening time for you to actually get the stuff done. Maybe you learn expressions or whatever, but it doesn't stop you from actually doing that work. You understand? So
Yeah.
it has in a way taught me more about myself because when I was younger, I was impatient. Like I was always jumping up and down like a frog, like always trying to like be plenty things at the same time. Like when I was little, I was this kind of person that you ask, oh, what do you want to be in the future? Oh, I want to be a doctor. Tomorrow you ask me around, I'm like, oh, I want to be a pilot. Oh, I want to be an engineer. Like I'm always changing because it's always fun. Like there are many things that I want to be or whatever. And to Uchenna's point, where you are a graphic designer and you have like a broad sense of how like maybe motion design or graphic design illustration works. You want to learn plenty things so that you be like, oh, I'm the guy that can do all these things. But you end up not becoming like a, a a master at any of them. So nobody will call you when you want a specialist to actually achieve this particular thing. So um if we sit down to like analyze the career that people should actually like the projection that people have, it's okay for you to change your mind. You can actually like explore different options. But once you have started something and you are quitting because it is difficult, that is a problem because wherever it is that you're going, it's going to be difficult. You just need to pick your difficult. Like you just need to pick the one that is difficult in a way that you're like able to bear. Understand? So no matter how it is, if you want to be a bricklayer, you still have to carry your bricks. Like it is still going to be difficult. So you there's like someone says that that there's creative block. I don't know if you are like familiar with Seth Godin, when he talks about there's nothing like creative block. Like you don't have creative block.
I agree
Like you
with
have to, yeah, you have to actually sit down, put your pen on paper, and like create stuff. Let it be trash, let it be mediocre, but just keep on creating until that inspiration comes because your inspiration doesn't come when you're not in a state of no see, your inspiration doesn't come when you're in a state of working. Like you can't be walking around and say, oh, there's an inspiration that comes, bam, and start working. It's when you are working that you see like different inspirations that will be coming. Like different things will be coming to your head. Like, oh, this thing comes and you branch to this particular place. Before you know it, you have gone to a different direction that you had in mind before. And that's where your big idea might be born and you create something that is really dope. And people like, oh, this thing, how did you do it? And you'll be confused and you'll be like, man, I don't know how I did it, but I did it.
I think what's important is like it actually just starts, and when you because like
Exactly, just start.
creative block doesn't exist. Creative block is, in my own words, is caused by a lack of a creative process. And how do you find your creative process? You can't find your creative process. You actually start doing the work. Like
Yeah, you have to do the work. Yeah, you might have like list of things that you want to do. Maybe you want to do a storyboard, you want to do this, you want to do that. But you won't get the storyboard done if you don't sit down to actually like explore the
honestly,
ideas that you have. So like my love for motion design is like I don't care the medium. I don't care whether it is on paper, whether it is on whether it's TV, whether it's mobile devices, whether it's on a laptop. As long as it moves and it looks good and it grabs your attention, I'll always be drawn to it. Even if I change career now, I say, okay, I want to become a farmer so that I'll make money. Yeah, I get. But it will still be like at the back of my at the side, it will still be like at the side that okay, my motion design baby, I'm still going to be playing with you. I'm not going to leave you alone. But I need to make money. I get motion design is not making money now. I get, but I need to make money, but so that I'll buy time to actually like play with you. So yeah, that's motion design is from the heart, man.
Honestly. So let me go into the next question before we start another conversation. Sorry, statement. So there's this funny quote that real estate is all about location, location, location. Will you say it's the same thing for motion design? Does location actually matter? As a motion designer, do you have to be in a specific space? Does your location actually matter? Mr. Uche, you're going first.
Okay, let me take. In a way, I think it does, and it's something I mentioned before the stream. I talked about how. So let me put it this way: when I first came to Canada, I did not know motion design, save for the things that I practiced on, like from watching tutorials on YouTube, and I didn't know anything. Like I didn't know what anticipation was. Timing, follow through, smearing and squashing and stretching and all those things. Like I watch a lot of like cartoons and I see that in like Looney Tunes and all that stuff, but I didn't know how to apply that into I didn't know how that applied to motion design. Like I couldn't see myself doing it because even if I follow tutorials, I didn't even know that that was what it was called, you know. So when I got to school, I'm going to share a very funny story. I was in kind of meeting with someone, and when the meeting was done, there was this rumor that the guy in question at the meeting that I met was like a very crazy animator and motion designer. So I approached him after and I was like, hey, do you have any tutorials or tips? And he was like, sure, bring your hard drive. I could share some things with you. And then he was like, let me follow you on Instagram. And then he opens up his Instagram, and then I find out that he is one of the first, he's actually an alumni of School of Motion, one of the very first. And I've actually been following him from back in Nigeria. So it was just beautiful to see that that kind of person was also in the same school I was attending. And that kind of opened my eyes to so much like possibilities. I think one of the things that also hinders us as Nigerian motion designers is that most of the people we look up to, we don't actually know who they are, what they look like. We've seen their images, but we haven't met them. We don't see them as typical human beings who sit down in front of a computer and like actually put in the work. A lot of us think that they're just born with talent, like the way we see Messi from a TV screen. You know, we don't know that these guys actually like put in the work. You know, some people have been doing this thing for like 20 years, but we are just seeing them now. We're just seeing them now. You know, we didn't see them 20 years ago. So change of environment, the reason why I say location kind of helps, I mean, it helps in the sense that if you, in this environment, for instance, since I've come to Canada, I've met some people that I would have never seen in my life, that I would have only known them through social media, like the Jorge, that's the owner of Ordinary Folk. In fact, the entire team at Ordinary Folk, you know, these are people that
Yeah. Sorry.
it's kind of like a coincidence because if you're reacting this way, imagine when I found out that the guy who created
people react to Beyonce.
The guy who you guys know Buck, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
he graduated from my school. The guy who co-founded Buck graduated from my school. The guy who founded Onarifo graduated from my school. And so many others. Like, so when I see these people and I see them face to face, it kind of like there's a kind of reorientation in my mind that like, okay, like what I see these guys do, it's possible for me to do it. And as with everything, it just takes time and dedication and hard work. So these days when I see um the work stuff that people do online, I'm not intimidated by what I'm seeing. I'm more focused, like, okay, what exactly out of this work do I need to like pay attention to help me get to where I'm going, that kind of thing, because they are on a different path and you are on a different path, or I am on a different path. So to answer your question of why I do motion design is because I love it. Like that's
Yeah.
just that's just the plain answer. I want to say something that OSHOMAH said earlier about there's a word you called it something pain. If you could remind me, you said everybody has their some like the pain that they love basically. So
Okay, when like different level, there are different types of like pain that you have to endure. So
yeah.
you have to
So
choose
this
the
is the one
variety
I
of
love
pain that you want.
basically. Like I remember working on a project for like almost a month, frame by frame, because I suck at it and I was still trying to like, at the time I was still trying to like refine my skills, and yeah, it was frustrating because each time I share with like a friend, um he's like, the animation still looks choppy. It's not smooth. Go back. you know. So you always, and if especially if, and I'm kind of person that there are certain levels where I'm just aiming for perfection, not because I'm a perfectionist, but because I know that there's a certain standard, and that's another thing. By the time when you're in a location where everybody knows what good motion graphics or motion design or animation is, you can't put out stuff that is below par. It just doesn't make sense. So you yourself, like as they say, you will tell yourself that, oh, bros, what am I doing? you
I feel
know
like I can relate with that. In Nigeria, there's no motion design
there's
stand.
no, exactly. So because there's no one around to tell us that, okay, this doesn't look good. No one really knows what good graphic design. I remember listening to a podcast for School of Motion, and he was like, before you even start motion design, you need to know what good motion design is. So he's like, watch the videos of Buck, watch the videos of Odd Fellows, um,
Man versus machine, tendril.
yeah, Tendril. Like, watch these videos and like, this is what good work
I envy
looks
the
like.
fact that you're closer to tendril than I am.
Yeah, they're on another level. Even if I'm close, trust me, I'm still galaxies away, because we're not on the same path. But yeah, it's you I do this because I like it. It's hard work, but there is a sense of fulfillment I get from doing it, especially when I know and it's not just making colors and shapes move to sound. I like the fact that this is a medium that you could use to tell stories, and you don't necessarily need to, you don't even necessarily know, you don't need to know how to animate characters in the sense that learning anatomy and all that stuff, learning lighting and texture. A human being, a bubble could represent a human being. It's a medium to tell stories, and when you have something like that as a tool, you are able to do a lot of things. So you're able to do so many things, and I think that's one of the things that inspires me the most about the field, is that you could literally do anything with motion design. You could sell a product, you could even spread fake news, like you could do evil and good with motion
Motion design
design.
is that one field that is going to break in, like, in the next few years. It's going to be part of every single thing. As far as it involves visuals, motion design is going to be present there. UI, UX, game development, name it, motion is going to be there. You have no choice. So in one word or in a few words, you're saying location actually matters.
In a way it does, because if you want to grow, like I know a lot of people who because like I said, I've been networking for like almost 9 months with people, different people from, some people working in agencies, production houses, that's VFX and VFX and 3D work, people who work in you know outfit like animation studios like the Honorary Folks and the likes. And a lot of them have have traveled the world. Like if they've not
Mm,
traveled the world, at least they've been to another place, and sometimes that helps because then you'll be able to um your mind will just change basically. I think one of the things that shocked me the most when I had a conversation with Jorge Canedo was that he said when he came to Canada, that's to the school I attended, he didn't really know what he was doing. He was just messing around with After Effects, So it's like, but when he got here and he saw people from Brazil, people from South Korea, people from Mexico, people from like different people, and you see all the work that they bring with them and all the experiences they bring with them, it does something to you. It
mm,
just there's something it does to you. Like I'm not saying that location is a must to be a good motion designer, but it helps because it has a positive effect on you as a motion designer. It just has a positive effect.
so in another word, travel around the world.
No, I won't say travel around the world, but I'll say experience experience a bit of the world.
I'm just messing
Yeah.
around. I feel like I feel like I can relate to that. And before I go into my own argument for why location, sorry, mine is not really an argument. I'm kind of like agreeing and not agreeing at the same time. Maybe because of the experiences I've been experiencing in the last few months.
Mhm.
But then I would like Mr. Oshoma Abubakar to like say his own piece on this idea first, on this question or this statement first before I go into mine.
Yeah, so I believe like pre-pandemic, location was very important, and I will give an example of when you hold conferences, like wine after coffees, what do you call it, blend. Um, like if you are in those kind of locations and the primary theme for being in that location is motion design, you would meet people that you would want to like have conversations with, show them your show reel, tell them that, oh, I want to intern with you. Even if it's for free, I don't mind. Let me intern with ordinary folk. If you are watching, just saying. In case you're listening. So yeah, like
I'm just going to
if
add
you're
that
if
train drill, man versus machine. But if you guys are watching, they can do 3D, 2D. I'm good with frame by frame animation, but my strength is design. And I'm good with all render engines, Redshift,
yeah.
Octane, Anode. I know the big three. Just call me.
So yeah, location. I believe location is very important. If not for at least the basic amenities, where you have your electricity, you have your internet. Like you said, you spent money on generator. If you spend money on fuel, if you have like a better location where you have constant electricity, you won't be bothered about that. That is like a mental load that you don't have to bother about. That will
Yeah.
give you more time to focus on what is very important. So that's one of them. Another thing again is it is kind of funny that you said you went to VFS. I actually applied to go for a course in VFS, Vancouver Film School, and my major objective wasn't to just go there for the course. So it was to go there to network, like to meet people, to actually do projects that mattered. I didn't even mind if I failed the course, to be honest. Like I wanted to go there So actually like do stuff that I wanted to do and stuff that was very interesting, because that's one of the things that I feel like I missed out when I was in uni. Because when I was in uni, it was great. I studied computer science as well. When I was in uni, there wasn't the opportunity for me to like run my own kind of projects. Most of the things, most of the courses that we were learning were mostly theories and like old, um, what do you call it, programming languages, systems, and whatever. So, like, if if you are in a location that is like charged, energized, mostly in a place that is with people that are very ambitious, people that say that they want to go to the moon, motion design. Like when you see those kind of people, like you know that there's a level that there's reality and there's abnormality per se. Like is the future believes in the future belongs to those who actually believe that they can do whatever it is that they want to do. So when you're in that kind of position, you won't be thinking very little. You'll be thinking astronomical. You'll be thinking of how to like get better at whatever it is that you're doing. So location is very important. Very important because I had the opportunity of working with one company that I won't mention her name, and it all boiled down to where I was. So they picked the person that was closer to them in Europe. While me in Nigeria, I was like, eh,
Yeah, I
better
also
luck
want
next
to
time.
add to what you say is very true. And that also buttresses the point about location being important. You know, with everything in this world, being a Nigerian is, no, let me be very kind to our country. With most
Exactly.
things, with most things in this world, being a Nigerian is a disadvantage. So it's harder, you know, it's a lot more challenging for us to be able to, like, just imagine you in Nigeria sending a message to someone in America. Trust me, before they respond to your DM or whatever, they've searched you out. They want to be sure you're not a Nigerian prince. You know, they want to be, you know, and things like that. You know, they've done their due diligence before they actually, like, you know,
Respond.
respond. And sometimes they just won't respond. And the same thing applies for jobs. Like, sometimes it's not because you don't have the skill. And like, I remember having an interview with a lady, and after talking to her for like 40 minutes, I didn't get the job. And I was, and as is the right thing to do, you have to reach out to the company always. Children, if you're listening, if you don't get the job, reach out to the company and ask why you didn't get the job. You have to know. It's your right. So I reached out to the I reached out to the HR, and she was like, I didn't explain my work well. And that was like that was the dumbest feedback I'd ever received, because it just didn't make sense. We talked for 40 minutes. I explained my process. Even my website itself could do an interview on my behalf without me speaking, if you want to know like what I can do. But yeah, sometimes they won't hire you. There might be a race thing to it. Um, but you just have to keep going. And like he said, he lost a job because he wasn't close by. That's another thing too. People offer jobs to people who are close by, like in terms of proximity. You know, in Nigeria, and it's tougher for you to get a job in a foreign country, but it's easier for someone in Turkey to get a job in another country, you know, in maybe America. And that's, I mean, like online, without physically going to the client's location. So things are different for us, and that's why we have to work extra hard, basically, so that even if the color of our skin or where we're from is a disadvantage, at least our work will be able to fight for us and get us where we want to go. Oh, Rog, you're muted.
I didn't realize I was muted. I was like, what?
No, it's all right.
Okay, so I was saying that I agree with the fact that location actually matters. Location matters a lot, but it also depends on what you're trying to do. Like, what are you doing exactly? Like, what do I want to achieve with this career? I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, repeat yourself.
Because, like I said, location matters, but what also matters is like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? That will also determine what your location, where you're supposed to be in. Because if you don't know what you're trying to do, you would just be open for happy accidents, which every one of us has experienced. For you, it's just happy accidents and like finding yourself in motion design and meeting people who has inspired you. And you wouldn't have gotten the happy accidents in Nigeria. Like, let's just be honest. You
Well,
would,
sorry, please go on. Sorry to
yeah.
interrupt you.
So I was saying, what I was saying was that location matters depending on what you're trying to be or where you're supposed to go. Like for me now, everything in my area, everything in my life, except the fact that I have the internet, is against me being a motion designer. I would say there's no light, the internet is shitty. Shout out to MTN. Their Wi-Fi is amazing, by the way, 70 MB per second at a cost, because man, this thing is expensive as F. Sorry. Okay, I just had to surround a little bit. Anyways, everything here is designed. Like even the people here don't know anything about motion design. They don't know like so. How do someone like me? How do I get into motion design? I'm asking myself that question right now. Like, how did I find myself here for real? Like seriously, how did I end up doing this? Because nobody in my street can inspire me to do motion design because they don't know it themselves. They don't have an idea of what it is. So I would say location matters, but then the internet has given everyone this level playing ground, which is what I have. Like if you have the internet, you're as good as someone who is in America because we're all connected to the same information. So in a way, location matters and doesn't matter, but don't think about it too much, please. It matters, but don't think about it too much. If you think about it too much, you only give yourself PTSD and worries. Just be happy you're connected to the internet. Like I every human is, I am happy I'm connected to the internet. Without Twitter, I would never have met a lot of people. I would never have met you. I might have met OSHOMAH because we met Instagram. But without it, I would never have met you, or I would never have met Joy, or I would never have met. I think the list can keep going on to the people I know that are really amazing right now and are really impacting my life. I would never have met a lot of people. Yeah. And the internet is just the internet is like God's gift to us. It's like God just saying, my children, take this, be connected. The internet is the internet is that thing that gives everyone the same advantage, like gives everyone the same equal opportunities. So everyone has equal opportunities with the internet. Everyone, you have the same opportunity that someone in US. The only issue is that there are things in your environment, your immediate environment, that are just designed, especially if you're in Nigeria, they are just designed against you. Like the very easy ones to mention: internet, electricity, government, SARS. Sorry, you can't even move around without them asking for your laptop or your phone or let me check your phone. Do you get? You're in society or people not really understanding what you're doing. Like for me, when my dad was alive, he literally thought I was doing Yahoo. Like I'm not. It was so funny. So he told his friends that I think my son might be doing Yahoo, and I was like, but I'm just a designer. I don't know if anyone has experienced this funny thing. But I'm just a designer and I make money doing designs for people. Please, I'm not a Yahoo boy. So like your immediate environment is just really designed against you as a Nigerian. And also when you go outside, the reputation Nigeria has on Nigerian people, the reputation that the media has portrayed about Nigerians also goes against you. Like you said, the Nigerian prince, they're doing like deep research about you before giving you a job. I've even have experiences where I would apply for jobs of motionographer. Everybody on motionographer that is reading this, please, you guys need to look into this. And I never get called back. And I don't know why. I've never gotten called back by any company that is on motionographer jobs, no matter who they are. never got, like, none of them has called me back ever. So like that's an issue. You guys should look into it. Sorry, as I keep going. So location matters and it doesn't matter. Just it matters, but don't think about it too much. Let's put it that way. Do you guys agree? Let me mute myself so somebody can unmute themselves.
Yeah, I agree because if I didn't have that BlackBerry subscription that time when it all started, I won't be here because that way it all started from, like, getting tutorials online, like getting Tooth Plus to be able to, because that time I couldn't afford like watching videos online. So it graduated to that point. So the internet is like a blessing, a huge blessing, and we have to like take advantage of whatever scrap that we're given. Because at the end of the day, there are people that will have a bulk of these things that we have that we claim that we do not have, and they don't do as much or as well as we are already doing, regardless of how long they have been in the industry. Because them too, they will have their own complaints that, oh, my mom just gave birth, oh, my goat just flew out of the. So they have different excuses. So it is left to you, like, personally, because there's like you have your own time. Like, you can say, like, you have to, everybody has 24 hours. So it depends on how much time you use. Like, you have the opportunity to be able to pay for fuel. There's some people that don't have that opportunity to pay for fuel. You understand? So you take that advantage. Like, it is something that you have been given. It's a gratitude for us, even us talking about the situations that we're having here. It's a privilege on its own. There's some people that don't even know what motion design is, but they might be interested in it, and maybe by virtue of seeing this video, they will be like, oh, what is even motion design? Let me look at book. Let me look at ordinary folk. You understand? So it is like, the more people get um, awareness about motion design in Nigeria, the more advantage it is for us as a community to actually grow and overcome these things. Because at the end of the day, if we're getting jobs from outside and it's coming inside, we're making money, and we'll be able to like facilitate like a structure that has like a community where we can actually build. Just like you see the software engineers, how they are doing, where they like get jobs from outside, they facilitate. Some people even buy laptops for other people. Understand? So they have this like community that is all encompassing per se, that helps everybody. Understand? So yeah, it is a blessing, and we have to like take advantage of every single thing about it. So location is important. Location is important, depending on what it is that you want to actually like aim at.
Don't think about the location too. I keep forgetting to unmute myself. Sorry. I was saying that you shouldn't think about the location too much. Take advantage of what you already have, like OSHOMAH said. Like what I have, internet. Thank God for internet. And I'm always grateful for the internet. I'm always grateful for Twitter, even though Twitter is really annoying with the kind of content on there. But I'm really grateful for Twitter and Instagram. So like I think we should go to
I wanted to ask a question. The reason for the question is for people who are looking to who are interested in the motion design career, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind, like, I would like to add a few things.
Sure. Like, go ahead.
So it's true that yes, location is not important, but you have to understand the reason why location is important, why it's important, and why it's not really important. You should know the benefits and like the pros and cons per se. Now, in terms of location, it might mean you having to travel out of the country to learn motion design, or to relocate entire, like migrate out of Nigeria in order to like build your career. It might mean something else. And then not changing location will obviously mean staying in Nigeria, but you still want to be able to have a successful motion design career. Now, the truth of the matter is that if you are a Nigerian trying to, build a motion design, you're interested in motion design career and you like to start, you first of all need to understand. It's not enough just to learn motion design and have the skills, but then you're also required to understand the market. And I'll give you an example. Can you remember the I don't photo the ad,
How can I
like,
forget?
of course. So something like that kind of ad, for instance, you see how it resonated with Nigerians. Now take that ad and share it in an American space. Will it be successful?
To an extent,
To an
maybe.
extent, maybe, but
Maybe.
in terms of the production, the car, like the Saka character that was used, and everything that had to do with that ad, it's likely not going to be successful. We are talking about a market that runs Apple ads. It won't be successful. If we're being frank, it won't be successful. Whoever directed that Saka ad, I think there was an Apple ad that was directed by the guy behind Vice. I've forgotten his name. I think it starts with S.
I
But
think I'll look for him.
he directed this Apple ad where the girl was like dancing and then her room was like stretching and showing colors and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I remember Spike Lee.
Spike
Sorry,
Lee. No, not Spike Lee.
I
It
think it's
starts with S.
Spike. Sorry, Spike Jones.
I
Apple
think
ad.
I think it's Spike Jones.
Yeah, it's Spike Jones, not Spike Lee.
Yeah, Spike Jones. So
He had
like,
FA twigs in the video. In that,
so
I love that. Sorry, I want to show it.
so now the reason why location might matter to you if you are interested in motion design is because of production quality and market. So if you want to serve the Nigerian market, you will have to learn motion design and understand the market, because it's from Nigeria that you will get your clients, and your clients don't understand types of they don't understand certain types of production quality, production standards. They don't appreciate it. Even if you teach them, they wouldn't understand and they won't appreciate it. So you might have to work at their level. But then if you're now trying to serve clients that are abroad, then you have to understand and learn how to serve the same production standard that is appreciated abroad. And I think, using myself as an example, I appreciate very well what is like. I like the idea of like doing Google ads, and working like, I don't know if you guys have ever come across ads where like um it's like character driven, and they're probably selling like maybe a drink, a new drink or something like that, but it's all animated. And that kind of production level is what I appreciate. And you would not see that in Nigeria. So hence the need for a change. So it's something that you should have at the back of your mind when you are determining these things, because at the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier, when you learn the skill, you have to be able to transform that skill into funds, into money, into profit. And that means serving clients. Hence the need for you to be able to understand your market. And in doing that, you will then be able to determine if you will need a change in location or if you need to remain where you are. So that's just what
Yeah.
I wanted to add. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry, like the call I disappeared for a bit. I was trying to show my favorite Apple ad, and Zoom decided to be a very funny software, and it crashed on me. In case anyone is wondering why I left for a bit. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Thank you so much for the contribution, Uche. I really like everything you've said, and location really matters. Like it matters a lot, but then you have to also you have to know the context at which it matters, which is
Yeah.
exactly which is what you're saying, and which is like, or which is ultimately what I'm trying to say, but maybe you explained it better than I did. So let's go to the final question. Then you guys will show us some secret sauce motion design stuff. So you don't have to show secret sauce or anything. You can just show your work or something you're currently working on. I'm just messing around by saying secret sauce. But like, what would you say to your younger self starting out motion design, which is literally everyone who might be starting out motion design, every Nigerian that might be starting out motion design right now? What would you say to them? I think Mr. Abubakar OSHOMAH can start first. Then you.
Okay, so for anyone that is starting like motion design, or I think you should the person should go deep into the fundamentals of design itself, and like understand like from product design, not product like software product design. I'm talking about like physical products themselves, like how people relate to them, like have deep interest in like architecture, like design, minimalism, understanding the concepts that guide those designs, understanding filmography, like cinematography, rule of thirds, like understand compositions, so that you'll be able to place the illustrations or animations or designs that you are working on. Like understanding, like when you understand the basics of all these things, you once you go into motion design, what you need to understand, what you need to learn most of the time will be how things like relate in real life, like when things are moving, like the principles of motion design themselves, then how you can push your boundaries in like mind-bending applications, because a lot of people want to go in and they don't have the basics, the foundation of like design itself. Because I know a lot of people want to know how to move stuff, want to know how to learn how to push like, motion design or whatever. But you need to know like the basics, like geek out on it, like geek out. That's what I'll say. Just geek out on the fundamentals and absorb as much as possible. Absorb high quality stuff. Don't be absorbing stuff that you know that maybe because they are funny, like you see they're funny, but those are like the content.
Like Jerry Coleman would say, have good taste.
Yes, have good taste. So make sure you have good taste, like. And when you post out stuff, don't allow it to get to your head. When someone comes and says, "Oh, this is dope," blah 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 blah, don't let it get to your head. Don't relax. Like push for the next thing. Once it's out, forget it. Don't go back to it again. Learn from it. Then like have like a metacognition. Like when you look at how you learn stuff, make sure that you look at it from like an other world experience, other world view. You look at it from that perspective and say, okay, how can I make this better next time that I'm going into it? If I want to do it, maybe want to revisit something that you've done before, like a year ago, and try to like make it better. So geek out, basically. Geek out. Follow your idols. Copy what they do, but don't steal and say that it's yours. Copy it, like learn from it, then add what it is that you feel like you want to add to it. Maybe your Nigerian elements, what happens in your life, whatever. Add it to it, because fundamentally, artists are thieves. They steal from nature. There's nobody that is an original artist. The original artist is God. So, so make sure that you steal wisely.
So you're saying you're a thief?
Yes. Everybody hears it. You cannot deny that.
Steal with sense. Steal from multiple people. But ultimately,
Yeah,
what
so,
we're trying to do is not steal, is like reference things.
Yeah, referencing basically.
And be humble enough to write that you are referencing that thing. Don't say that, boom, this is my own, I'm original. Stop lying to yourself. You're just deceiving yourself. So, Mr. Uche, do you have anything you would say to your younger self, the younger Gregory Obi? Sorry, Uche Gregory Obi. Sorry, let me mute myself so you can.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, sorry, I had to clear my throat. I think the first thing I'll tell myself is don't study computer science. Then probably find don't study computer science, especially this is me speaking to myself and also to people who want to start, like who are interested in motion design. Don't study computer science. Don't waste your money or your folks, your parents' money. There are several schools like School of Motion Design School. You could
MoGraph Mentor.
MoGraph Mentor. You could go on these platforms online and give them your millions. They would teach you better regarding motion design. I'll say find a supportive community online. There are several, there are plenty. It's just go online and ask. Like if you could go on Twitter, look for anyone you could ask. I think, of course, ROJ the GOAT is here. You could reach out to him and ask. I believe he knows a couple.
Yeah.
So find a supportive community, ask questions. And when I say ask questions, I mean like, because motion design is broad. And when I say motion design, I often interject that with animation because they both follow the same principles. So ask questions about the industry, the available, the opportunities within the industry. Because for instance, if you look at a motion design piece and you scroll to the credits, you see that not everybody in the credits is an animator or a motion designer. Some people are 3D artists, some people are VFX artists, some people are directors, some people are producers, some people are storyboard artists. So find out what each role does and then identify the one that you are interested in. And then when you find what you're interested in, you can then go ahead to when you identify your area of focus. Because, and I say this because I think sometime during the stream I talked about designers trying to be masters in many things, and designers trying to specialize in one thing. Now, I'm of the school of thought that if you, as a designer, it's best you specialize in one thing. I'm pro specialization in one thing. Now, I'm not saying that is the that you must do that, but identify your area of focus if you can, or your areas of focus. Find your heroes. And when I say heroes, people, I mean like I think it's Chris Do who explained what a hero is. Heroes don't necessarily know you exist, but you know they exist and you know what they are good for. So for instance, I'll say one of my heroes in terms of in my bid to learn frame by frame animation, one of my heroes is a guy named Enrique Baron, who also went to VFS and is like a really crazy 2D animator that I look up to.
I think I would go to VFS now that you're saying VFS like multiple times.
And I say it because the school has actually produced like a lot of talented artists who are working on like major projects across the world, Marvel projects, DC projects, like you name it. So there are so many heroes you can look out for, or like people like to say in Nigeria, my mentor. But but I like the way Chris Do coined it. You identify these people and you, like OSHOMAH said, copy them, not steal their work, but like see if these people share their BTS, their behind the scenes, learn from what they do, like practice what if they do an animation of a house that's talking, try to do one too, and follow the process. Like identify your heroes and like follow them, copy them, find a place to learn. Like I mentioned earlier, there's motion design school, motion mentor, school of motion. Then practice. When you've done that, as you're learning, also take time to practice the craft and do it with patience. Understand that you will not be as good as your mentor or hero instantly. Your first several projects are going to be terrible. I'm saying this as someone who, looking back, I think I was going through my archives some months back, and I saw like some logos I did for a client way back in 2015, and I was very disappointed in myself. I couldn't believe that I was the one that designed that. But yes, that's the process. So do it with patience. Um, a hack to make sure that your first work is not terrible is to first of all have good mentors or heroes that do good work, because then even if your work is shit, it's somewhat close to what this guy that you are looking up to did, and so it's kind of passable at best. It's manageable. So
Manageable.
yeah, it's manageable. But if you pick someone who doesn't have good taste in design or in animation or in motion design, you could best believe that the work you're going to produce is going to be subpar or terrible. Even if your work sucks, share it. When you share it, don't share it for likes, share it for feedback. And that's alludes to my first point of finding, or my second point of finding, a supportive community. Because a supportive community will not just tell you, hey, guy, dope work. They'll tell you this stuff that you did here. What were you trying to achieve? Um, the timing on your animation is not syncing properly. Probably delayed by 2 seconds or something. Like they will give you actual feedback that would help you get better. And I think School of Motion, I don't know about other online courses, but I know School of Motion has like once you pay for the course, you
Yeah.
get you get initiated into a community where you could actually, like, you're like a member for life. So if
Yeah.
you have like questions, you could just dump it there. And so that's a way to get into a community. Just pay School of
It's really
Motion.
helpful when you're learning and you have people to give
Exactly,
feedback.
exactly,
So
exactly. So
in
do
one
that.
word, buy a School of Motion course.
this has this stream has become an ad for School of Motion.
Honestly, like those guys are so good. And by the
And
way, I just wanted to add, School of Motion is doing an inclusivity. I don't know if I'm saying that word very well. Inclusivity scholarship program where you register for a scholarship and they give scholarships every year.
Mm.
So if you guys want to go for a School of Motion course and cannot afford it and you want to be part of that experience, I feel like you should take advantage of it. I'm just going to link it in the I'm going to link it in the comments in case anybody wants to try it. Their courses are really worth it. I'm doing design bootcamp right now, and OSHOMAH took animation bootcamp. Sorry, advanced motion methods. Please let me know mixed it too. So, and I can tell you, it's like 100% a better animator than he came back when he came back. So you guys should check. You guys should try it out. Slow
Awesome.
motion ad video.
And Uche is planning on taking the course with Sarah Beth Morgan when he has money.
Illustration. When you can actually apply it to.
Yes. So so I think my final point will be, okay, share your work for feedback, not necessarily for likes. Build a portfolio, network, and get jobs, because and that last part is very necessary about getting jobs and networking and getting jobs, because you will not really know your it's not you'll be first when you realize that you are getting better and seeing improvement, you start to get confident in your skill. But it's a whole different ball game when you're dealing with a client who is entrusting you with a project. There are two different things. Because you are killing it on a personal project doesn't mean you're going to kill it on a client project. So yeah, that's once you can scale through networking and getting jobs, and you build confidence in getting jobs, then I could say that you're getting there. But I think my earlier I say my advice is mostly for people who just want to start. Like, the building portfolio part is for later. I think you could just stop at share your work and for feedback. I think that's where you could stop if you're just starting. And yeah, you'll be fine. Just understand that everything takes time. Even I myself, as I'm talking to you, there are some things I'm not good at. Like I struggle with. Like I said, I'm planning. I wish I could take the Sarah Morgan course, but I'm poor because I really don't know how to.
Listen, everyone here in this room is poor, so
I really
except
don't,
maybe Oshoma is
I really
getting
don't know
closer with
how.
money.
I really don't know how to. There's a certain. It's something I said about production standards. There's a production standard in terms of illustrations that I would like to get to. Now I can't do that on my own with
But
practice if I just dedicate time to it. But I feel like being able to interact with the instructor would help me more, because then I will have more pointed questions. And I like to ask questions. My instructors at VFS hated me for that. Some did like me for, some hated me for that. But yeah. So just you'll be fine. Just it takes time. And always ask questions, please. Don't suffer in silence.
honestly,
Yeah, I want to add to what he said about your heroes putting out great work. So we were talking about previously. We were saying that like when I first started like motion design, I was searching, like looking through people like I like their work. And one of the people that I looked up to was I still look up to is Motion Marcus, Motion Magnus, and Magnus. Marcus Magnus.
Yeah.
That name is one kind of. Yeah, so Motion Marcus was
Yeah,
one of the
I
people
know
that I was looking
yeah.
up to. So I paid for his Patreon, and he every month he used to drop this tutorials on how he comes up with what he does. So it is very easy to get lost in the amazing graphics, amazing motion design stuff that you see, the amazing animation, and forget that there is a process that actually goes behind creating these things. And two people that have given me that experience, Motion Marcos and Sander Van Dyke. Motion Marcos, he did one piece, the basketball piece, where he was bouncing the basketball, where there was someone bouncing the basketball, switching poses and dancing and moving to the beat. So people will see that and the animation wasn't up to 10 seconds or 20 seconds. I think it was a loop because we always do stuff on a loop. So it wasn't up to like 20 seconds. But when you look at it, you'll be like, oh, this is really nice. You shouldn't take this guy time. This guy is actually really good. This is that. Quite all right. There's a level where you reach where your skill will take you there. But your emotional intelligence to understand that it takes patience to actually do these things and get better at these things, like finessing these things, that's another level. So I would advise everybody to. There's this book Joey Conman did. Is it Freelance Manifesto or
freelance
no,
man.
not Freelance
Yes.
Manifesto. No, there's one that came before it. That there was a collection of
Experiment, repeat. Experiment,
yes,
repeat.
experiment, fail, repeat. Yes. So
Let me
I
go
went
find it.
through. I went through all. Like I read the book and the constant advice that is being given in most of the motion designers there is that finesse the F out of your work, because that is what is going to make you stand out. Understand? If you sit down and you understand that you say to yourself that I am not good enough, or this thing that I'm doing is not good enough, you might probably be right, because you know yourself better than any other person. And you know the taste that you have in your mind that, okay, this is what I want my stuff to look like. Quite all right, don't kill yourself, but make sure that you try to the best of your ability to get to that level. Like finesse the F out of whatever it is that you're doing. I don't care whether the deadline is tomorrow. Quite all right, you need to meet your deadlines, you get. But give yourself extra time. Like maybe the deadline is tomorrow and you are done with the project today. And you look at it this afternoon and you're like, I can do something about it. And maybe you have work that you want to complete before the end of the day. Complete the work, sleep, wake up, take your time off social media, because I know that people will look at, if you have like a tracker on your phone that checks how much time you spend on particular apps, you see that your Twitter, your Instagram, and maybe your YouTube take the bulk of your time, or your Netflix, they take the bulk of your time. You see that maybe some people spend, like there's a day like this that I checked my phone and I saw that I spent 4 hours on Twitter, like after downloading that app. And that day I was like, 4 hours. If I sit down and get stuff done for 4 hours, maybe I can even get like $200. Like if you think about it.
Honestly,
Like if you think about it, you see that if I should take, even if it's an hour, applying for jobs, like putting out my portfolio, putting out my showreel, doing stuff, just 4 hours that day, or take 1 hour that part after that 4 hours, just take 1 hour that day and put out stuff. Send people stuff that, okay, this is what I do, this is what I want you to help me, like this is what I want to be doing. Get, once you take that time out and like send it out, you have done something very productive that day. Understand? And it could lead to something else, it could cascade into something else. So like time management is very important. Make sure that you spend your time on what is important. I know that it is very difficult for us to sit down and say, okay, let us stay off social media. It's very difficult. These social media apps, they are designed to make us addicts. Like they've hacked our psychology in the sense that we cannot do without them, in a way that there should be like is it alcoholic anonymous, Abi? But for this one is Twitter or social media addict anonymous. So you actually need those kind of organizations that will sit down and say, okay, hello, my name is OSHOMAH and I'm a Twitter addict.
Warrior, like I would personally go because I need it in my life. I realized I typed Twitter unconsciously. Like I wouldn't realize.
I stayed 6 hours off Twitter and I realized that I'm having withdrawal symptoms. I'm shaking right now. I'm trying to hold myself. So yeah, like you should try your best to like fight it and know that you're not doing it for you're doing it for the best of your for the best of yourself, for the best of what it is that you want to do. Because you see a lot of people, a lot of creatives, they are very they're depressed in a way because they have not like achieved what it is that they have set themselves to achieve. Because everybody has this thing in their head that, okay, by this particular time, I want to be this particular person. And this is the particular amount of work that I need to do to get to this particular place. But you see yourself regressing. Oh, New Year's resolution, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. December 5th, you're very regressed. You're back to your 2020 self. So, yeah, try to like structure your time. Try to make sure that you have focused time to learn. Yeah?
It takes like a very God level, like a God level of discipline.
Yeah, it does. It's actually a problem, but it's possible.
I think it's with time and consistency. For me now, I've been blocking. Like I showed you guys my Twitter blocking thing. My Twitter and YouTube. I have 2 addictions: Twitter and YouTube. Actually 3. The third one just added Netflix. Oh my God! When I will start watching a Netflix series, I cannot leave until I finish the entire series. So like once I start
it happens to me too.
Let's finish it episode 10. And like hours have gone. I'm supposed to be working. Client is disturbing my life. I'm watching Netflix.
Yeah. It's a problem. It's actually a problem. So like, apart from location, that's actually a big problem.
Yeah, which is social media. Social media is a huge problem. Like it creates a lot of problems, especially with imposter syndrome. Because everyone on social media, everyone on Twitter, most especially because Twitter I'm always on. Twitter, everyone on Twitter, you look so perfect. Like, boom, this person
is an expert.
Everybody's an expert. This one is married.
Everybody's an expert.
When are you going to get married? When are you going to get money? When are you going to buy a car? And it's just like that.
200K salary is trash.
Honestly. And you just need to live and understand that behind all this, social media is a place for anyone to look like they're perfect. Behind all this, like it's like a video game. You can decide to be Hulk not yourself. I mean, if you decide to be yourself on the video game, will you win anything? Just be honest with yourself. That's the same idea with social media. Everyone is trying to be Hulk. Everyone's trying to be a better version of themselves, projecting better versions of themselves. And we all need to like control that. We need to press the up button on social media and just focus on work and learn to see things from the way they are. Like see that what this person is doing, there's an entire process to it. And look at people's behind the scenes and look at their process. You know that this thing is hard work. I feel like we should move on to the final stage of this live stream so everyone can get going and we can all say bye bye and go to sleep. So let's look at some secret sauce. Are you here? Like you guys are muted. So
Oh, I'm
wow,
here.
we've lost OSHOMAH. I think his network is bad because he broke for a minute. Anyways, like, can you give us like some secret sauce?
I don't know what secret sauce means.
I mean, like, I meant like something that really helps your work, or show us some work that you've done, or just show something in your workflow that you think is helpful.
uh,
Let
I
me give
don't
you the ability to share your
I don't
screen.
like what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, any personal project you're working on or anything. Like Oshima was supposed to show us his new reel, so
Oh yeah, that's sad.
I'm going to like
Did he leave on purpose so he wouldn't
no,
show us? Was a
I think it's
promise.
I think it's his network.
Okay. But anyways, the project I'm working on right now, I don't think it's I'm allowed to share it because
Your
I signed
personal project.
a contract and
That's
and
the worst
so
contract.
I can't really share anything about it until the client posts it on their channel or whatever. Um, but I think for my work, my process is basically as stated because my online portfolio, I whenever I post projects on my portfolio, I like to show I like to explain my process, and it always starts with it always like in terms of motion design, it always starts with some idea, and then from that idea it goes into a storyboard. From the storyboard it goes I determine I because I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really good at visual development, which is like it's another skill on its own that illustrators and like digital artists are like they're very skilled at. But I fish online for art direction, and then once I'm sure of the art direction and I'm sure of the storyboard, I start to develop the project little by little. So I determine what's going to be, um, what's going to be animated and how. So
Yeah.
something frame by frame, some things might just be path animation from After Effects. That's I'm not going to like I'm not going to create an anime because the reason why I do frame by frame animation, I apply the frame by frame animation technique is for reference. So when I take it to After Effects, I know where to move the points and all that stuff. But my process is pretty explanatory on my web. It's self-explanatory on my website.
So let's
Um,
check your website.
okay.
I think you should share your screen. Everybody has the ability to share their screen. Yeah. I'm going to just let you guys. I'm just going to leave this call for you guys to show your secret sauce. Actually, I need to go check something in a minute. So you guys should take control of the secret sauce section, just for you guys to show off whatever you're doing or anything you have in mind. And
Sure you want to do that. If you come back, you might not be the owner of this YouTube page again.
I don't mind. Still, it's have fun. But please wait before I quickly go and just need to go. Please,
Okay.
there are like 12 or 13 people watching this stream right now. It was 19 at some point. I know some of you guys are not subscribed, and I'm really angry that you guys are not subscribed. And I just wanted to ask, why are you not subscribed? Please subscribe because it will really help somebody's career as a YouTuber. So like just subscribe, hit the subscribe button down there, somewhere down there. And just subscribe to this channel, please. Ah, sorry. I felt angry shouting it. Okay, let me go, please. You guys take control of this section. Bye. Hold on. Let me off my camera.
Okay, so I'll share because this part of the stream is talking about and please guys subscribe please if you can. So yeah, so secret sauce. I don't have a secret sauce per se. When I attended VFS, my main goal was to know how the industry takes an idea to the screen. That was my main reason for attending the entire program, aside from like networking and all that. The idea was just to know how the industry gets an idea, how do they process that idea, and how they transform that into a final product that that we see on YouTube or Instagram or wherever we consume media. So most times I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Oshoma, am I visible?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So I'm going to share, this is more like a personal project I did, and the final stuff is on my Instagram page, but I'm just going to show you the behind the scenes. So I watched this video on, there's this ad that I came across that it was done by an animated studio here in Vancouver, Vancouver, BC, Giant Ant, and they did this ad for Cartoon Network, and it was basically Steven Universe. So I kind of liked the simplicity of the character itself, and I liked the color scheme. And I'll search for this. I think this is it. Reference image. Oh, I think this one was done by Oddfellows. Sorry, this was done by Oddfellows. And it was, so this was basically, this is like a snapshot. And I like the color scheme, and I wanted to do something that had to do with someone that, or a character that looked like Steven Universe and had some of his features. So I just came up with the idea that, oh, what if I animate his chin, because I was just fascinated with the fact that the guy had a very big chin. I don't know why. I can't explain, but I was fascinated. So that got me. I started sketching. I started sketching. How do I make this full screen? Because it's just showing. Okay. Sorry, guys.
You have to like share your whole screen, not unless it's on show. Like click on share, then you share, then you share your whole screen.
Okay, the whole screen.
Yes. We only see the window you're sharing.
Okay, is the whole screen visible?
Yeah, we can see it now. It's
Okay.
within Photoshop.
Oh, better. So yeah, I'm opening Photoshop now. So basically the idea was so I had this concept in my mind that was like, okay, why don't I draw a character that is kind of, the character is salivating in the sense that let's say for instance Steven Universe is looking at oh, it says my scratch disk is full. This is not good.
Sorry, I never knew Mac had that issue.
Oh, it does. So I don't know if I'll be able to show you this now because it says my scratch disk is full.
You could show us the final video.
Let me just show you the, I'm going to show you something else. Hopefully that passes for it. So basically I went on a Photoshop, because I know it sounds weird, especially to people who animate, but I actually do my animations on Photoshop with a plugin called AnimDesign 2.
Oh my God.
And
Apologies.
that's where I and that's how I animate my all frame by the frames for the animation. And so my process was first of all drawing um the scene. Now my idea was, so the reason why I mentioned Steven Universe and that ad at the beginning was because that was my art direction. The color scheme that was used in that ad was the same color scheme I wanted to use for this personal project. And then, and the goal for this personal project was to practice the frame by frame animation technique. Now, when I don't know if I'll be able, I don't think, okay, yes. So this is the frame by frame animation. Let me press play. And
That's
it's
so smooth.
yeah,
Like,
so that animation took me it took me 2 months to do. The-
is
to
it just,
get
or
you said
I mean, what is it? The rough pass?
that's the yeah, that's like the
No,
raw, like
that doesn't look like the rough pass. You know, like when you do frame by frame, start with a very rough pass, then you keep
oh
building up. Yeah,
yes. I didn't export the rough. It's in this Photoshop file. Unfortunately, I can't open it,
yeah.
which kind of sucks because that would have been helpful to people who are trying to see my process. But the one thing I learned from people who do who practice the technique, the frame by frame technique, is that, like you said, they draw the first attempt is not always good. So most times um, you have to do several iterations of the animation in order to get like before it's perfect and the stroke lines are clean, because as you keep drawing the animation, your frames, the first time you may do like double strokes. That's what makes that particular one a rough. But as you repeat the process, you are cleaning the animation to the point where you have just one stroke, and that one stroke is it's in alignment with your animation movement or direction or whatever. So what I just played for you now is the cleaned up version of the animation. This is the cleaned version that's just ready for painting. So I took this to I painted every frame in Photoshop, because I figured out, of course, because Photoshop you can also in as much as you can draw your frames, you can also paint. So I did all that there, and I took the final painting, which is this. I took it to After Effects for composition because I wanted to do a kind of cool background thing, and I could not do that with frame by frame. So I took that to Photoshop and I came up with this.
Me to get After Effects or for the
Yeah, no, After Effects for final composition. Like the background with the donuts moving in some kind of
3D
there's
space.
a camera lens kind of thing going on. That's After Effects. It's an effect in After Effects. So it's something that I couldn't, that kind of thing, I can't do it frame by frame. you know, it's going to make my life extra hard. But for the character as a whole, all this was done in Photoshop. So so my process basically is get an idea, get uh get an idea, identify an art direction. In terms that when I say art direction, I mean like the color, the style of the character, you
Story.
know, it's like you have to know what every element that's going to be on each frame. You have to develop the style for it,
Yeah.
because you you are the maker of everything that appears on screen. So you have to decide and you have to determine what those things are going to look like, what they're going to feel like. And then once I'm done identifying the art direction, I then go into storyboarding. But for this animation, because it's not like a 1 minute animation, there was no need for a storyboard. It was just a case of drawing a character sliding into the frame and then sliding out. So I skipped the process of storyboarding and just went straight um anime. That's production. I started developing the frame by frame animation. I really wish I could open the Photoshop file so I could show you guys like the steps I took and how the animation actually changed, because at first I wanted it to be like, it wasn't supposed to be this loop. It was supposed to be something else where there's a bit of camera movement, but I realized that um, if I stuck with that idea, I would have spent probably like 4 months working on this. And there was a client project that was coming up, and I was like, okay, I don't think I want to spend 4 months drawing
We
um,
got it.
a guy with saliva like flying
Whatever.
out of his mouth. So I just had to like, and, and that's another thing too about the projects. One thing I learned also is what we see as the final version. Like if you see, I think the best example is Marvel movies, because I'm a fan of like Marvel stuff.
DC and
Marvel.
Marvel. Sorry.
Not
This is
particularly, I wouldn't say DC, but
DC.
Marvel, yes. And one
I'll
thing
call it
that,
the
um,
argument.
yeah, one thing that I think Kevin Feige always says as a passing comment that people probably don't pick up is that when the movie is shot, sometimes they shoot up to, um, let's say the director has planned to use, um, the movie is supposed to be like 2 hours, 30 minutes. But
Mm.
But by the time they're done, like picking the key scenes and key shots and they want to use to edit the movie, it's like 3 hours. So they have to decide what scenes they're going to cut off. So most times, if you see any movie or animated stuff, or just know that what you're looking at is not the original idea.
Mm.
Somewhere along the line, something changed. Something changed or something was removed, and most times it was done to maintain the integrity of whatever it is you're watching. So the same thing too applies for this. I'm not saying that this is like some motion picture or anything, but I'm just trying to let you understand that in motion, while working on projects, it takes the direction can change. So you also have to be flexible and open-minded when working on projects, so that you don't become stuck on one thing for so long. I think Oshoma made reference to this when he talked about having clients. You experience this more when you're working with clients. They will tell you that you have a deadline, and your inability to be flexible could cost you um, it could cost you the client, in the sense that they might decide not to pay you because you didn't deliver on time or something. And that's probably because you were stuck on trying to get something perfect, or you were sticking to one idea instead of thinking of a different way to do it. So you also have to be flexible to while working on stuff like this. I would recommend because like I said, my process is the same process that I think anybody that I know in the industry they use. But I think this guy did a video on it, Eka Abrams. He did. I don't know if we could share the
Is it one on
link.
the future?
Eka Abrams is a Canadian YouTuber. He did a series
Can you
showing.
share the video link and I'll share it?
I could do that. Yeah. So he basically showed the process from how a motion project goes from an idea to the final piece that's on Instagram. and that's
So,
basically
I think
the thing I do.
I think that's Evan Abrams, man.
Evan
Is
Abrams.
in Canada with you?
He's not in Canada.
You were.
No, he's a Canadian now. Evan
Yeah,
Abrams.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Can you? It's just Evan. I didn't know it was Evan. I know the series you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah, EC Abrams. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I would
It's a
share.
mood boards. Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, I remember this
Production.
one sponsored by Milanote.
Yes,
Milanote.
once.
Start making me use Milanote too.
Honestly,
Yes.
I love Milanote. Anybody who this is Milanote plug. I mean Milanote.
So this is basically like the process.
Secret sauce. Yeah, secret sauce.
That's it. That's it for me.
So it's Milanote. Use Milanote. They're like. Sorry, can you
Yeah.
share the link in the chat?
And they are free.
Of course.
They are not totally free, please.
Yeah, they are free, like freemium.
Premium, yeah. I wish they would give me more space though.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Uche, for like taking your time to explain this. Rob Barrett in the chat was asking if you've heard of Alien script by Battle Axe. Alien, it allows you connect it allows you connect After Effects and Photoshop together.
Oh no, I haven't.
Okay, I checked it out and it looks really good. So I'm going to share the link with you too.
Oh,
I checked it out while you were talking.
Oh, and thank you
very much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Rob, for the recommendation.
Shout out Rob Barrett.
Shout out to Rob.
That's my guy.
Yeah, it was like advanced motion mentor. This guy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so Mr. Oshoma, you're about to present to us your reel for the first time. Never like this is the first time anyone is seeing your reel. I mean, this is the first time I'm seeing your reel. This is the first time anyone is seeing this reel.
Yeah.
So like, this is your time to take control of this live stream. So you can share your screen.
Okay, so let me share my screen. This is yeah. Okay,
but please let this network work well.
Can I see my screen? Hello?
Yeah, I can see it.
I can, but you need to scroll down and click on share audio. Like in that Zoom panel.
Yeah.
That panel at the bottom, there is in the share side, there is an option for sharing audio. So have you seen it?
I'm coming, let me see.
Okay, I can hear your computer sound now.
Can you hear now?
Try playing it for a second. Let me see if I can hear the sound.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Jazz Club.
You can hear? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me start from the beginning again.
Jazz Club. Really flying the music. Okay. And it's so packed in here. The band sounds great. Double penny with some tracks.
So
Stop. I love the music. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why Shoma, like, like this is amazing now. Like never been seen before. Like I really, really love how your release and the storytelling and the music most especially. I'm curious, what song is that? So let me
Where
zoom
did I
right.
even get it from? Yeah, so there's this YouTube channel that gives copyright free music. So I've shared that in the
Okay.
so like I was scrolling through, like I was searching for stuff. I found it. It was like perfect, and I like this kind of upbeat jazz kind of feel to how the music is. So that was part of the selling points for me. And one thing that's very important for me when it comes to like animation is like having very good sound. Like it's almost always underrated, because no matter how good your animation is or your motion design is, it is always dependent on good sound. And
Honestly.
sound is like half of it. Because if you like I don't know if you can remember one comedy skit that Ghana company,
Hmm.
like without the sound, like it was very funny. It was a very funny skit. And the animation was just like complementary to it. So like if I wasn't doing like motion design, I'd probably be like dabbling in sound, because I have a very good ear for sound itself. And that's one of the things that actually kind of delays my work sometimes.
I
But
think
yeah,
it's the same.
so
I spend
that's
hours looking for music. 10
looking for
hours every
music.
day for music.
It's crazy. But yeah,
I
so
think that's
that's
where
that's
Hierarchy is good because we have our own dedicated sound designer. So in case people are hiring us, just know you're getting. I'm plugging my company now. If people are getting original content, original music,
yeah.
obviously not original. We steal from other
No,
people's
no,
ideas.
so for the secret sauce, I would like to point out that if you are working, try to like find things that shorten the amount of time. So know your K's, your J's, know your control keys, know all the things that you need to know about shortcuts, because they actually save the time. There's this FX console. It is I cannot overstate how important it is for you to use FX console. Like instead of you going to the effects and control panel and searching for one particular effect I want to post, just control space, type your effects, bam, it's
Hmm.
already on the comp. There's no need for you to start searching for then
I love for me that I stress
another
myself.
plugin again. Huh?
It's a while for me that I used to stress myself and be searching.
Oh my guy, don't stress yourself. Get FX console from this guy. What's his name again?
Video
Huh?
and Kramer, video call pilot.
Yeah, Video Copilot. Yeah, Andrew Kramer. So like, get FX console. Use that plugin. Use this motion design school plugin, um, motion tools.
Oh
Use it,
yeah.
because there's a lot of that, like changing your Illustrator layers to shape layers, and deleting the Illustrator layers and making it faster.
I just want to
Then
beg Adobe to work on their pen too. It's just stupid.
yeah. Adobe, like After Effects has like each update, there's always one bug that is killing my project. Like there was a project I was working on that I just finished like last night, like I said, or this morning. I finished one particular session of the animation. Then Adobe was telling me that they need to update, blah blah blah. I updated. When I updated, I could not find that particular stretch of animation. I had to like start again from fresh. And it was stressful. Like I already gone through this. Why am I going through it again? Then I was thinking that the bug that was disturbing the After Effects was sorted. It was still there, but it is minimal now. It's not as much as it was before. But yeah, so like use motion tools, use ease copy, use ease copy, so that you copy your keyframes. Like, I don't know how to overstate. Like, if you have money, I want to invest in an education. Go and do motion. Go to school of motion. Just go there. If you are not, if you are familiar with After Effects, you already know the basics, and maybe design and whatever. Go and do advanced motion methods. Go and listen to Sander Van Dyke. Like, that guy is a genius. You understand? Like, he's a proper genius. Like, and I'm privileged to be able to watch how this guy works, because you will look back and be like, this guy, he knows all these things. But you sit down and you see how he's very meticulous with how he does his stuff. He spends his time to he takes his time to actually do stuff. There was a project that he was working on for GoPro, and he had about 250 layers for just a session. It was not up to 5 seconds. Just a session, just a part of an animation.
Layers.
250 layers, and it is something like, when you scramble, a screen, and it's like transitions to another screen. That's how it looks like. So imagine you like animating all those small boxes, like very tiny boxes, like transitioning them into like words, and transitioning them back into something else. Like, imagine that amount of meticulousness that goes into that. And you'll be looking at it and thinking, oh, maybe this is an effect. Let me just go and look for one plugin, put it there, and you don't get the same effect. Then you're not wondering why this person is getting this amount of jobs when he's actually doing the work. You understand? So you sit down and you understand how professionals actually work, the way that they approach projects, transitions, like when you start, my friend Uche said, he said that you start with your storyboards, your bodomatics, your animatics, then your rough drafts, then final animation, then final whatever. So your finesse needs to be there. So you need to know these things. So invest in knowledge. That is the hack. No matter how much you want to say there's a cheat or there's a code or whatever, the hack is invest in knowledge. Know your stuff. Geek out on it. It's very important. Even right now, this year, I want to dedicate this year for me learning how to automate stuff, and that includes learning, like Uche said now, it's difficult for him. It was difficult for him to learn coding. It was difficult for him, but even me too, it was difficult for me to learn online. Yeah. But at this juncture, I actually need it. So I'm going to learn. I'll be repeating one expression for the rest of the year. I don't care, but I'll just continue to learn it until it sticks. You understand? Let me understand. Okay, how did Sander Van Dyke do this thing? Say, okay, let me go back. Let me learn this thing. Okay, how did Jorge do this thing?
You have given us
because Jorge is
all the secret sources.
Yes, take everything. Follow these guys: Jorge, Andrubuko, Sander Van Dyke, all the guys that are listed as contributors.
And my hero, Nidia DS.
Yes, Nidia DS. Ah, God, thank you for. I was looking for her name. She's in Spain. She's
no, she's
Uche.
in Portugal. She's my.
Uche, if you don't know her, better know her now, because she is dope. She is seriously dope. Oh my God, I'm geeking. She's seriously dope. If you sit down and you say you want to learn illustration for motion,
I mean 3D.
Her and Sarah Beth Morgan, both of them. Just watch them.
This is all the secret sources.
Go after them.
I have a lot of type after this.
There's so much outside there. Don't look at your local champions and be like, oh, this guy.
There is no local champion here, Jerry.
Aim
Sorry.
higher. Aim higher. Don't look at me. Oh. I don't know anything. Oh. Aim higher.
Don't look at
Aim
me.
higher. So yeah.
I feel like there's something that both of you have said that really matters. And I think I did not get motion design until I started doing this. Focus on the principles, man. Learn the basics first. Learn how to tell stories. Learn design. Learn typography. Learn the principles of animation. Learn anticipation. Learn follow through. Learn everything, or learn the basics of cinematography. Some motion designers, the animation will look good, but there's no continuity. The story is not flowing together. It just looks like, what is this? The thing looks amazing, but there's no continuity. Everything is just flowing up and down. The storytelling is not on point. Learn the basics. That's the difference between Nidia DS and I am, like, and me. She has years of experience using the basics. Me, I don't have years of experience using the basics. Just learning the basics myself. Sorry, not like I'm just learning it. I'm just mastering it in a way. She has mastered it years ago. That's the difference between Blink My Brain and all of us here. You understand? Let's not even talk about Blink My Brain. You just have PTSD when you look at his work. It's like, I just can't do this shit. And the another part is when you check his layers or you check his project files, you would run mad. Because everything is just crazy. Like the amount of layers, the amount of animation, the amount of keyframes it takes to do it. And the fact that he doesn't rig any of the animations he does. Everything is all animated. It's like, how? That's my own secret sauce. Focus on the principles.
Yeah.
Learn history.
Basics. Whenever you're in doubt, go back to the basics.
Go back to the basics. Like me, when I'm working, sometimes, not all the time, I write down the principles of design. My focus in motion design is direction. So I do designs. I design stuff a lot. So I just write the principles of design is on the board. Like this red board here. This is the principles of design. This is what I want to. This part needs this better. This part needs this better. Like it helps me balance my thought and think about the frame in a new level. Like, so in one word, go and get a whiteboard. You need it. Thank you very
I have
much.
a whiteboard here too.
Only Ichi is left out. Doesn't have a whiteboard. Funny thing is, I have a whiteboard that is not shredded.
No, I'm a paper and pencil person.
I'm both a paper and pencil and a whiteboard person. Like this, all my notes. This is books. This is notes. Everything is filled with rough sketches and whiteboards to just gather my thoughts and see what I'm doing. I use everything, honestly. I use sticky notes, paper and pencil, everything you can think of, just to gather my thoughts. Thank you very much, guys, for doing this with me. This has been one of the most fun streams I've been on. It's really amazing to just sit down and talk about and just vex about everything that is going on in our industry for like 2 hours.
Because I'm not. I don't think I've spent a long time in the industry. I literally left school last year.
I don't think I've spent a long time to like I just became a full-time motion designer in 2018. I don't know. I haven't really spent that. I'm not that. I'm still young in this industry, and I'm learning, and I'm hoping.
I think my first like full-length project, because I think it's when you run like a project that you say, "Oh, I'm a motion designer in this industry." So my first kind of full-length project was in I think 2019, like the end of 2019. Then the main project I could look up to and say, okay, this is for like a big client, came in like 2020. Get quite alright. Before then, I was doing like small stuff where I was working, like doing like little projects and whatever, but like client stuff, major client stuff, they just started like last year, because what turbocharged it was like advanced motion methods. So you'll be able to like have, like when you have like knowledge in that particular field about how to approach projects, you'll be able to like, even if you do not have clients, you'll take on projects for yourself. You say, okay, let me use this knowledge that I have to actually do stuff. And when you do stuff for people, and they see, oh, okay, this is the standard now. It cannot go lower than that anymore. like, and you would want to uphold that standard. You want to keep being that person that upholds that standard. So yeah, what my aim is this year, like I said, is to like automate a lot of stuff. Like when it's time, like when you want to create like multiple layers, you want to parent stuff. Yeah, you want instead of you doing it manually, you'll be able to like save time and like build rigs that be able to like make your work faster. And if you want to like reuse those rigs, you can use them in other projects. So it is better. So basically, like this year, I'm learning how to like use code, even if it's for me to learn how to like create apps themselves. Like it's where my focus is right now. So yeah, like web animations, motion design, every single thing that my hand touches, I need to like make it like work in that sense. So I'm looking at you, Google. I'm looking at you, Nike. I'm looking at you, Microsoft.
Oh,
Even if even if even if Tendril, even if Tendril is collecting your money, I need to touch your money too.
then drill, man. Like 10 is away. Sorry. Thank you very much, guys, for doing this with me. I think it's like we just left the call. People are actually leaving now. Thank you very much, guys. I would personally reach out to every one of you. Thank you. Please subscribe, follow the channel, come back for my next live stream next month with Jonathan Wimbush. Wow, this is like really early announcement. I've never done a very early announcement. You guys should don't forget to come here for my live stream with Jonathan Wimbush, which is like an amazing motion designer, and he's an OG in the industry and he's always innovating. Anytime there's a new technology in motion, he's always one of the first people to get it. So like we're going to talk to him and pick his brain and all. So thank you very much, guys. See you guys next time in my next video about how to find clients. Don't miss it. And my short book about how to get clients. Take care, guys. Bye. Thank you, guys. I think this is where wave editing.